set it up. And that's me in the corner. And that's me in the spotlight. I was losing my religion, trying to keep an eye on you. Hey y'all, welcome to the Closet Recording Studio. I'm Andrew. I am a teacher and would characterize myself as a bad to mediocre guitar player, but I do like playing and I really like talking about poems and lyrics and stuff like that. So we're going to put some of that together, maybe sing some songs, play some songs, and play some bad covers of some songs, and talk about the poetry and the lyrics. We're going to start today with one of my very favorite songs and one of the first, I guess you call it rock and roll songs that I ever heard, Losing My Religion by R.E.M. The first time I heard this was in 6th grade, I believe, when my friend at the time said, I know you've at least heard R.E.M.'s Losing My Religion, right? Because he was kind of making fun of me a little bit for not being very socially literate at the time. So he's like, I know you've at least heard this song. And I'm like, yeah, sure, I know that song. I did not know that song. But I got my parents to take me to the Camelot Music in Charlotte, and this was one of the first 2 cassette tape albums that I ever bought, R.E.M.'s Out of Time. And the other one we'll talk about in the next episode, actually. So this is the first one that really spoke to me, I guess. One of the things that I've noticed about myself as a fan of music and a fan of poetry and a fan of those kinds of things is that I tend to pay attention to the vocal melodies first before I pay attention to the actual lyrics of the song. I think a lot of that has to do with my formative musical experiences being with Pearl Jam and R.E.M. and Nirvana, all of whom have very distinctive vocalists, but not super clear lyrics if you don't have the lyrics in front of you. R.E.M. famously did not have the lyrics on their little CD or album inserts or whatever. So you're left to kind of figure them out for yourself. So let's go through this a little bit. The song is called Losing My Religion, and Michael Stipe, the lead singer, talks about that phrase meaning when it's a Southern phrase, which is one of the reasons it appeals to me, I guess. And he talks about it being a phrase that when something so bad or so dramatic or so out of the ordinary happens, the phrase is I'm losing my religion. It's shaken me to the core, right? I mean, that's what the phrase means. And the song's about a romantic relationship, I guess, of sorts, where they're dropping hints. The speaker in the poem song is dropping hints to their crush, I guess you would call it, and their beloved, and they are not really the other person is not really responding to them. So you have a situation where you try something, and then you try something a little bit more, and you try something a little bit more, and a little bit more, until you put something out there that's this huge, obvious, you can't possibly miss it hint, and then the reaction's kind of weird. So that's kind of how we're working through this, right? So life is bigger, right? It's bigger than you, and you are not me. And the lengths that I will go to, and the distance in your eyes. So the lengths that he will go to, or the speaker will go to, these are the lengths that you will go to make that person notice you, right? But there's the distance in your eyes. So this is a contrast. Let me get this pencil going on here. So there's the contrast images here, right? The lengths you'll go to, but the distance in your eyes. So that's the beloved, or the target is not paying attention, right? And then this is the internal monologue. Though no, I've said too much. I thought originally that lyric when I was growing up was, oh no, I'm sad too much. But I've said too. I guess it works that way too. But I've said too much. I set it up. So that is the first the first time he tries, right? And then the rest of this, this part here, the chorus, sort of, it's not really a chorus because it doesn't repeat after each verse or whatever. It's kind of the internal monologue, right? R.E.M. is a very internally focused group. It's a lot of the lyrics are I wouldn't call them a hodgepodge, but they are non-linear for sure. They're not telling a specific story. It's like there's not like this happens, then this, then this, then this. It's more of a it's a series of images, I guess. So you have him, me in the corner, the narrator. That's me in the spotlight, losing my religion, right? So, and I love that phrase so much. That's me in the corner, and that's me in the spotlight. Like the corner, you're trying to like hide, right? You're trying to like get away from this thing that you have done, but it also feels like there's like a spotlight right in your face. That juxtaposition, that the way they put those two images together is really cool. And he's losing my religion, trying to keep up with you, and I don't know if I can do it. And then, you know how when you're thinking, you're on kind of an anxious train of thought, right? You start repeating things to yourself. So I know I've said too much, and I haven't said enough. Like he doesn't even know, right? I've said too much. He changes the chord there. I haven't said enough. And then we get like the reaction, right? The reaction that the person gives them, or the reaction that the speaker thinks he hears. It goes, I thought that I heard you laughing. I thought that I heard you sing. I think I thought I saw you try. Right? So he is seeing that person and thinking that they're laughing and singing and so he doesn't know whether those things are directed at him or they're just in their own little world and have no idea what's going. And so you have this is more stuff that goes on inside his head right here. Every whisper of every waking hour, I'm choosing my confessions. Like he's choosing what to say to them, right? He's trying to keep an eye on you. So he's all in his own head here, choosing his confessions, but still trying to watch this other person too. Like a hurt, lost, and blinded fool. And he said too much and he set it up. So, right? So there are these images of all of this is happening basically inside the speaker's head. And he is watching this other person, trying to interpret how the person is reacting, but is not really speaking to them at all, except for this one thing, I've said too much, right? And so he's saying this one thing to them, and then like they give kind of a reaction that he's not sure about what it means, right? And really, the rest of the song kind of loops around, right? And that's how, anxiety spirals look. And when you're like obsessed with this significant other, that's kind of how it works, right? You're thinking about them all the time, and you can't, you hope for the best, but you're kind of feeling like it's going to be the worst. Like, consider this, the hint of the century, consider this. The slip brought me to my knees. Fail, what if all these fantasies come flailing around, and now I've said too much, right? He's dropped the hint of the century now, like since the person has not really responded, not appropriately, but has not really responded at all, or in a way that he understands. He dropped a bigger hint, the hint of the century, right? And that's the phrase he uses. But then he calls it a slip too, right? He's fallen. That brought me to my knees and failed. What if all these fantasies come flailing around, right? So he's got the fantasies, right? There's this picture of what their life would be together, how this is going to go, right? You will notice, though, that the rest of this, pretty much, except for the phrasing of this last piece, is repeated from the beginning of the song. And this song does not really have a traditional chorus in the same kind of way. I mean, I guess this part right here is technically the chorus, but even Peter Buck, who's a guitar player and mandolin player on this song for R.E.M., says there's not a traditional chorus in this song. So people usually consider that part to be the chorus because it's where the title of the song comes from. But it only repeats itself twice. Like, it is once in the first half of the song and once in the second half. And I mean, even though the song's based on the A minor, E minor loop, though, right, just that over and over again. In this song, there's not just a chorus repeated, though. It's got the thought that I heard you laughing, thought that I heard you sing. I think I thought I saw you try. Right. That part is repeated twice in this section and once in the first half. That was just a dream part, but that was just a dream. Yeah, right. That part's repeated as well. So when we study regular poetry, I use quote fingers here, regular poetry, that's not in song form. We usually tell people that when something is repeated, then the artist or the poet wants you to pay particular attention to that it's super important. But in this case, almost the whole second half of the song is repeated. I mean, you have that first verse up there to consider this part, but it's not, all the rest of it basically is repeated. And I think, to me, I mean, that mimics the anxiety spiral that he's in, about having maybe said too much, having maybe like overstepped his bounds, right? It goes from like, here's the thing that I did, now I've said too much, to like, they reacted this way. Right? So you have, let me change this color. So you have, I've said too much. This is the thing that I've done. And then this is how you reacted. I thought I saw you try. Thought I heard you laughing. I thought that I heard you sing. Like, and he doesn't know whether that's directed at him or if it's directed at, something else. He sees the reaction, but doesn't really know what it means. So he's done something, the person reacts to it, but the reaction is not clear. It's not, oh yes, I want to be with you, or no, get away from me. It's not, it's kind of ambivalent, right? So he doesn't really know what to think about it. And then you get to this part right here, that was just a dream. Like, did I even really see what I thought I saw, right? So he goes in that circle, like, I did something, you reacted, I don't know what to make of your reaction, and did I really see what I thought I saw? And it just kind of goes around in a circle, and it does it again down here too, and that's how anxiety spirals work, right? I mean, most people kind of recognize that train of thought, right? This is also a great example of why you should use your words in romantic relationships, right? Like, flirtation's fine. It's a lot of fun. The dance, is she into me? Is he into me? Is he not? Whatever. That's fun, right? But eventually one of you is going to have to use your words and say, like, this is what I want, and this is who I want, and this is, like, you've got to say what you want, and it would save a lot of consternation. It ends, I want to go to this end part too, right quick. So the end part is, but that was just a dream. Try, cry, fly, try, that was just a dream, just a dream, just a dream, just a dream, and then it goes out like that part, right? That repetition, the try, cry, fly, try, is taking that spiral and kind of tightening it up, right? Because that it starts going faster and faster and faster and faster. And I think the idea that he finishes the song with saying it was just a dream indicates that they never got, I guess that it didn't work out, yeah, but they never got like a real resolution to the thing. You just kind of gave up at it and just said, okay, it was just a dream. I just all made it up in my head. Since most of this goes on in his head anyway, I made it up and that's it, right? So the end of the song kind of mirrors that, and you have music that kind of mirrors the descent, like from anxiety to belief to disbelief, right? You have the kind of descending riff in between this part right here. And that was just a dream, right? It kind of, but those notes go down, right? Which mirrors the kind of emotions tailing off too. And then it repeats at the end that E a bunch of times, this E right here, as it's playing it out. This is not like a losing all hope with the universe or the world song, right? It's losing my religion. Losing my religion is not like despair. Losing my religion, in the context of this song anyway, losing my religion is like embarrassment, mortification. It's like I have done something that maybe screwed up my chance of this relationship ever working out. And that's something that I think all of us kind of can understand the feeling of. So anyway. And so this little resolution goes like this. And it does resolve itself there. So it's a little minor riff that gives you a sense of resolution, but also a sense of maybe not exactly peace, but finality. Take care, y'all. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.